I have this like vision that like you grew up and you were like, you know, your dad or your mom was like this great salesperson and they're just having you on their knee the whole time and teaching you and grooming you to be this. Is that your childhood? Were you always involved in sales? Does your family have like some crazy Texas background where they were like auctioneers and they were doing all the, sales and all that?
None of that. But my parents were entrepreneurs. They owned an office furniture business. They started in the early 90s.
Awesome.
But prior to that, they both were salespeople for office furniture companies. My dad worked his way up to vice president and then decided to start his own business. I probably get my personality in sales from my mom and her dad. My grandfather and I have very similar personalities, very loud and just boisterous. But what's funny about that is you've seen me at events. I'm actually standoffish, introvert.
Sure.
Like, I don't have a problem doing this. I don't have a problem talking to sellers. But for the most part, it's because I'm passionate about what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm out and about, I want to stay to myself.
Yeah, sure.
Know? But sales is, I never actually considered myself good at sales until 2020 when I did the Closure Olympics. And people were like, dude, I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't think I had anything special. So now it's kind of consumed my life. I walk around with, literally every time I travel, I have to carry these everywhere I go and talk about sales.
Yeah.
Is it sales though?
I think sales is service. So I think solving the problems of property owners is how we get paid. I mean, you have to be able to provide for earned income. You have to be able to provide equal amount of value.
Yeah,
so what's the value?
Buying.
Yeah, but the value that we have to the property owner is we make it as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
That's the value that we have. The value that we have is maybe it doesn't go on the internet. It's not traditionally sold. They don't have to hire and be around a real estate agent. They don't have to go through inspections and repairs and all these other things, right? And it's the speed and convenience that typically happens with a cash offer. So you have to have expertise to be able to do this. If you don't, it turns into a nightmare. And I think that's the value that you provide.
Every time I'm around you, you change my perspective on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I believe it. Listen, here's the thing. And the other thing that's really important, and you mentioned it before, value is determined by the buyer.
Yeah.
We determine the value.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're talking to a property owner and, if you want me to throw out the value sight unseen, I'm going to have to take into consideration all of my experience and all the mistakes that I had in the past to avoid all of that. And it might not be an offer that makes sense to you, right?
I've probably said the words take into consideration more than any other human being in existence. I mean, it's just that is when we are talking about that's going back to the 4 buckets of sellers and that seller that highly motivated, but the price is wrong. That's my go-to saying where it's like, I have to take into consideration the condition. I have to take into consideration the speed that you want me to do this. Dude, I think you're absolutely right. And I've never really thought about it from the perspective of the value that we're bringing and we're solving the problem as sales. I've always just kind of made it more black and white where it's like, because I don't like the fact that people feel that they need to have sales training to be able to close deals.
Well, I think people just need to have – I think there needs to be training in how to ask really good questions and then listen to the answers.
Yeah.
Most people don't know how to do that.
Don't you think – okay, in this industry, I mean, you have trained thousands of people.
Yeah.
Do you think there's more of a need for people to understand how to close deals or how to evaluate deals?
Close, for sure.
Really?
100%.
That's crazy.
100%. I could give you a very easy calculation for most properties. Probably 83.2% of properties is just a percentage of Zillow.
But they at least have to understand how to get to those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can broad strokes. I think that if you find a couple comparables, I think that with technology now, if you take Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com, smush all those valuations together, divide it by 3 to come up with an average, you're going to be pretty close.
Yeah.
In most markets.
I would agree with that.
And then if you're 50% of that or 25 or 35. So if it's above 250, you're at 50%. If it's between 250 and 100, you're at 35%. And if you're at 100,000 or lower, you're at 10%.
Yeah.
If it needs, you're going to get a deal.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I say this all the time to people where I'm like, they say I struggle with underwriting. I struggle with comping deals.
Sure.
And I'm like, just be more conservative. Be more aggressive with your offer.
But also, if you really want to know, you call up a real estate agent if you're not working in that area because you're virtual. You call up a real estate agent that sells properties in the area, and you say, hey, listen, I'm buying this house. I'm going to totally fix it up. Once it's fixed up, what do you think it'll sell for?
Or you could just be a systems junkie like me and just sign up for all of them. PropStream, Privy, Batch.
Yeah.
Anybody else got comping softwares? I'll sign up.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's when you start out, you're right. Is it a deal or not a deal? That's the toughest part. Is it a deal or not a deal? That's at least the apprehension that I had was like, I don't know. It seems like it's a good deal, but I don't know if somebody will buy this. So you go to an investor and you go, hey, listen, would you buy it at this price? And they go, no, but I buy it at this price.
Yeah.
Now you have a buy price that you can work with. And so I think it's a little bit of trial and error there. I think there's a bunch of really good disposition companies. I think anybody in your marketplace could reach out to you and go, hey, RJ, I have this deal here. Is this something that you could help me sell?
Yes.
And you'd be like, yeah, that's a great price.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
But to your point on where we are.
But closing, bro? Getting somebody, asking them to sign the agreement to move forward, to get it done. I mean, I think that's a natural progression of all the work you did up front. And that is a skill. It is truly a skill. It's exactly what Tony Robbins is saying. And I don't know why I'm bringing him up twice in one conversation, but I just saw this TikTok with him on there. And I talked about it on my live show Wednesday. Great salespeople have to be comfortable with rejection, right? Yeah. There's that part of our brain that we all have that's like, okay, if I get rejected, I'm kicked out of the tribe.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I am telling you, most people will never get past that part of their brain.
The second part
is
I live in that part of my brain.
That's what I'm saying.
I have no problem with that.
But Tony Robbins would argue you were born that way. Okay. You weren't made that way.
All right, but here's how you can become that way.
Yeah.
All right? Stop thinking about it as they're telling you no.
Right.
And get to the point where you're telling them no.
Sure.
If you could do that, you're not getting rejected.
Well, that's why outbound versus inbound is way different.
But it's also how you just navigate the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's outbound.
Yeah.
Right? Using the cold call example earlier on. Brent, do you want to sell? Yes. How much do you want for it? You don't want to give it to me. I'm telling you, what did I say?
Right.
I told you no.
Right.
Who rejected who?
Yeah. You did.
But what did you just say? Human beings can't. I kicked you out of the tribe.
Right.
How'd that make you feel? You didn't like it. That's what you're saying. You're literally saying people can't close deals.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to feel rejection.
Yeah.
So what happens when you make a seller feel rejected? I didn't want your piece of shit house.
Then they either
piece of poop house.
They either give you a price or they negotiate.
I thought we were on my channel.
That's all right,
man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're good. We're all adults there.
Here, my
Some
thing
of us
is
speak French.
When you embrace no.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So like my KPIs on Lead Zolo were 1 out of every 7 lead was a signed contract.
Love it.
Speed lead, property leads, 1 out of 10. What I tell everybody is it's me saying no 9 times.
Right.
Me saying no 6 times. And
so maybe that could be the secret to all this.
So
you know what I mean?
But how do you get to the point where you're making a decision? Stop saying you make offers.
Okay.
Do you want to sell? Yes. How much you want for it? Tell me what's going on. And eventually, at some point in time, you're going to have to say, okay, my offer is this.
Right.
The ideal close is that whatever number you land on, I'm saying yes to.
Right.
And I never even say a number.
Right.
That's the ideal close.
Yeah.
So a full example of that is do you want to sell? Yes. How much do you want? $200,000. Tell me what you got going on. It's vacant. It's distressed. It needs repairs. I really need to sell. I keep asking questions. You feel comfortable. Then you tell me if you could just get 180. Because that happens all the time. Sellers naturally just talk themselves down because they're feeling some kind of a way. And then I walk you through the credibility side of things. So I say, well, here's how this is going to work. If we can agree on a price, then I'm going to send you a simple agreement. Once you sign it, I come out, I walk the property. everything looks the way that you told me, then we're good to close on your timeline. If not, then we'll have to revisit price and timeline. But with that being said, if I cover all the closing costs, no realtor commissions, buy it as is, what's the best price you can do for me? 10 to 20% price drop every single time. What's crazy about that is I see people getting that 10 to 20% price drop using that line at the end of the conversation when they didn't even do anything inside the conversation to earn it.
Right.
Terrible conversation.
Right.
Terrible, no questions asked, and they're still getting 10% price drops. And it's like, so they went down to 180. We get them to drop another 18 grand. So now what were we at, 162? I say, okay, what's your email? That's the ideal close. And then we chop that up and we put it in a 45-second reel, and Steve Trang and Eric Brewer want to go in there and call me an order taker.
There you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a manager at Pizza Hut, so I was pretty good at taking orders.
There you go.
So maybe that's what led to this.
Delicious. I love Pizza Hut. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if you get to the point where you can say no to their price and be comfortable walking away because you've talked to enough people to get enough leads in, it makes sense. And I think that's really it.
Because you're here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix was crazy. Like, you were competing against so many people a couple of years ago.
Still, I mean, I will tell you this, because we've really transitioned to more inbound leads than outbound leads. We are one of 3 offers every time. Every time.
Never you're the only person.
Well, not from like no, I can't say that. I would say 70% of the time it's 3 offers.
So how hard is it for your team to pull away?
They can't. I mean, it's literally you have to go in and you have to try to pull. You try to get the information of what's the offer that they have, and can we beat it or not? If we can't beat it, we're not gonna waste our time with it. But we're real competitive, and we're really good at just sitting down with them, having a conversation, really working through the process to really get the discovery. And I think once we get the discovery, that's why people work with us.
So when you say sit down with them, you're still doing belly to belly appointments?
Oh yeah. As soon as possible.
So see, that going back to the hedgehog concept, like, you're a Phoenix wholesaler.
Maricopa County, yeah.
Maricopa County, belly to belly, wholesale.
Oh yeah.
That's your hedgehog concept.
That's our thing.
And see, it's funny because you called me about doing some virtual stuff.
Yep.
Well,
we looked at expanding for sure.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game because.
Well, and that's something that I realized.
Yeah.
I mean, being able to make that transition with my current team right now, I think would cause a lot of problems.
So, like,
and we're having the best year ever. So we're like,
I'll do probably somewhere between 5 to 10 deals in Maricopa County this year.
Yeah.
How? Because I beat you with speed on a very small amount of deals. That's it.
Yeah.
But that's why I have to be nationwide.
Yeah.
I can't run my company based off of that. Otherwise, so many sellers are going to be like, but, Brent's company, they're coming out today. I can't compete with that.
Right.
I'm at the point now where I'll just say they're probably going to be a better fit for you.
Yep. Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But across the country, where we're getting leads in so many different locations, there's not going to be 3 different people to come out and make an offer. 3 people that are going to come out and sit down belly to belly.
Right.
So that's how we win those.
I love it.